Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Let's Talk Stroke. I am your host, Jerry Wald, and stroke survivor. For those of you that are new here, why I do this show is to bring awareness to stroke, TBI, aphasia, really brain injury, and to provide a platform for all survivors to share their journey, their stories from all across the world, as well as bringing on experts in brain health and health professionals as well to share their knowledge for all of us. So this morning, my guest is stroke survivor Greg Graham. You may also know him by on Instagram, AVM Superhero. So, and then we'll chat about Greg's story in just a few minutes. So please ask questions, make comments, let's get involved. And lastly, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel called Let's Talk Stroke, please do so. And again, please ask questions, get involved here. So let's go ahead and get started. All right. Good morning, Jana. Good morning, Michelle. Nice to see you guys here. And let's go ahead and bring on Mr. AVM Superhero, Greg. Good morning. How are you?
I'm well, Jerry. How you doing today, man?
Doing great. Doing great. Good morning, Greg. Ray. Okay. When you have a stroke, things kind of go array here and there, as you know. But yeah, so how you doing? Everything good?
I'm well, brother. I'm very well. Trying to get everything in order for Stroke Awareness Month, man. I want to get a lot of people to get this information that we got in store for them. A little surprise that we have for them.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. And good morning, Salute. Oh, I see you there, Michelle. Greg, you are handsome.
Well, thank you, Michelle. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, and yeah, thanks. Hey, I love this. All the people getting involved. Ask questions, you guys. And oh yeah, also say where you're from, country, state, so we can kind of see where you're from. That makes sense. Um, but, so anyway, maybe we should just get right into it.
Okay.
So, yeah, who was Greg before your stroke, your brain injury?
Oh, okay. Who was Greg Graham before he became AVM Superhero? Well, Greg Graham was a husband, a father of two daughters, and also was a instructional designer for Fortune 500 companies, and got laid off and decided to do RV transport from Indiana, South Bend, Indiana, all over the United States and also Canada. So I got a RV trailer truck, half ton, pull across the country, things like that.
Wow, good for you. And then all of a sudden, I'd love to hear your story about what happened about your stroke.
So my stroke, very interesting, Jerry. Did you ask that? Because I was coming back from South Bend, Indiana. I was driving back. I didn't have a trailer. They lost the trailer. Couldn't find it. So I was driving back home. I was doing a show at the time called Okay, We Listening with a couple of my friends. It was a relationship show. And I was driving back and talking to my mother on the phone. And I was talking to her on the phone. We were discussing about her friend, or was her friend and my friend that went to high school with me, had two strokes at the age of 38.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden, my head started hurting me. And I had this massive headache. I couldn't alleviate it. I tried to drink some water. Nothing passed. And then all of a sudden, my mother was praying for me, praying real hard. And I was like, thank you for praying, but you need to bring that down because it's too loud. And then she told me to pull over and call 911. So I did. I called 911. I was in about an hour and a half from Louisville, Kentucky, in the United States. And I live in Atlanta, Georgia, about 6 hours away. So 911 operator said, okay, we can get somebody to you. And I'm thinking I'm going to die at this particular time.
Wow.
Because I had a friend that survived an aneurysm, and he told me how the pain was. And I felt the same type of pain. It was just so bad. It felt like a jackhammer was in my head. And then all of a sudden, I started thinking about all the things or all the people that would miss me if I died. I thought about my mother. So I just talked to her. She'd be fine. I talked about my dad. He'd be fine. I thought about my wife. I said she'd be fine. Then I thought about my daughters. I was like, whoa, I can't leave yet. I have two daughters. One was 11 and 12 at the time. And I was like, I can't leave them yet. And when I was thinking about that, all of a sudden, I asked God, I said, God, give me another chance to live. And just like how you and I are talking right now, Jerry, I heard, okay. And everything changed. I didn't feel like I was going to jump off the roof and just go to my death. It was like I was caught, or a parachute was open, and everything was changed. I was taken to the hospital, airlifted to Louisville, the hour away, and they told me I had a stroke and I had an AVM, or arteriovenous malformation. So they did an embolization on me, stabilized me, got me ready to go back home to Atlanta. I had dysphagia, and I also couldn't walk at the time. And then my left side of my body was stiff. And this particular neurosurgeon, recommended another neurosurgeon in Atlanta, Georgia, at Emory, Dr. Barrow, to actually do my craniotomy. So all in all, I had a craniotomy, I had hydrocephalus, I had dysphagia. Hydrocephalus is when your brain fluid cannot transfer to spinal fluid. So I have to have a shunt in my head that's draining into my stomach to take the swelling away. And that's permanently inside of my head. And that was about 5 years ago.
Wow. Interesting. Did you know, what's the odds of you talking about, was it your mom had someone having a stroke, 2 strokes, and then you're having one kind of right away?
Yeah, isn't that crazy? It's ironic.
Very. I can't even believe that.
Yeah.
Did you know what a stroke was?
No, I did not know. I did not know what a stroke was, Jerry. Actually, I thought I knew what an aneurysm was. I thought I was having an aneurysm. I knew that part, but I didn't know that was going hand in hand, that you have a hemorrhagic stroke. I didn't know what that was, because my body, like my chest, my left side of my chest, felt like I was having a heart attack. So I thought I was having a heart attack. I didn't know what a stroke actually was until actually it happened to me. And then I started doing research about what a stroke is. And that's why, I'm sure this is why you have this show and I do my shows, because I want to educate people about strokes and the symptoms and how the warning signs are. Because I could have kept on driving and just died.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Absolutely.
Wow. That's just amazing. So, so how do they handle it? Your family?
My mother was, at the time, she was working as a nurse's assistant in a facility that had people that had strokes, elderly people, things of that nature. So she used to work with occupational therapy. She understood what was going on. My immediate family, they was supportive of me, but they didn't understand exactly what it was. My wife and I, we broke up, we divorced afterwards, because there wasn't a lot of tension before we had my stroke, and then after the stroke, it just snowballed and things was out of control. And it was really not a lot of attention given to her as a caregiver to understand what's going on with your patient. So that's why I do these caregiver baskets each month, because I know that caregivers go through the ringer, and I just want to show my gratitude, my appreciation by each month giving out free caregiver baskets.
Yeah, and that's on your AVM Superhero on Instagram.
Yeah, that's the reason why I'm the AVM Superhero.
Yeah, exactly. You don't do anything really on Facebook.
Yeah.
For the most part, yeah. Wow. Yeah. So they handled it. It sounds like they your family kind of handled it pretty well.
It's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag, Jack. Like my mom, she handled it, but other people in my family, they look at me as still Greg. You look at me now, I'm 6'4", I'm 250 pounds, so I look like a good, stocky young man, and I have all my faculties together. But I'm a good actor.
Yeah. I completely understand. Do you how do you go through? I know Mike Peters. I see him out there here. He's from the UK. Nice to see you, all of you, Marina, Violet. But how do you handle? Do you handle any depression? Do you go through that?
Depression.
Yeah.
Depression was my middle name. Depression and anxiety. I was having anxiety attacks. It felt like heart attacks, because there's so much pressure that has inside of it. And depression, I was in a very dark place. 2 things helped me out with that. Actually, 3. I knew this person that was 100 years old. I used to talk to her, and she was telling me about life and how you should live life. So I'm taking her information in, and I'm seeing where she's at. I know that she's going to die soon, and I'm coming from the place that she's going. And I'm like, okay, it's time for me to live instead of being sorry for myself. So that was one thing. And the other thing was my grandniece was born right after I had my stroke. And I used to live with her. And it was amazing just watching her trying to walk, trying to talk, and not being defeated by it. So I'm like, why am I being this way? I guess adults think that way. Adults want to always go and say, well, I'm a failure. And they try to put this negative image inside of their head, while children like, okay, I fell, I still want to walk, I'm gonna get up again. So that's the same thing that happened with me. I was like, I can't just keep on saying, woe is me, I lost my house, I lost my wife, I lost my job. Get up.
Yeah,
God got you here for a reason. So what's the reason? Live it.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. Some of you I see out here, tell us where you're from too. Feel free to ask questions. I can see Heather there. I don't know if you can see that comment there.
Who are we talking about, Jerry?
Looking at Heather, let's see. I can probably bring it up. Here, Heather. I see it here. Yeah, good morning from, that's actually so sad. That's actually not the one here. So Heather saying she saying here, she thought she was having a heart attack when my stroke, when that happened. Yeah, it's, here we go. Well, it sounds like you kind of, because a lot of people that like have strokes, we pretend, as far as, like you said, the depression or feeling like, why me? It's tough going, like I always say, stroke is not for the weak. And that's one of my biggest things.
Yeah, I highly don't recommend it. I don't recommend stroke at all.
Yeah, at all. Exactly. I see that, Marie. Yeah, you're right, being positive. Yeah, thank you, Lynn, saying where you're from. I knew where you're from, but I saw Delia out here, and she's from Ireland. Nice to see you here. Yeah, so tell us where you're from. I see Mike out there again, yeah, from the United Kingdom, South Wales. So I love when people come from all around the world. And thank you, Ray, from Chicago. So when you had your stroke, how much time do you spend in the hospital? This is about 5 years.
So, like I said, I was 6 hours away from my home in Atlanta. I was in Louisville, Kentucky, and I had to spend. It was right after Thanksgiving, so it was the 27th. I had my stroke, and I didn't leave Louisville until January 15th. So about 6 weeks.
Okay. And I do see there's some comments there. When was your stroke?
November 27th, 2017.
Okay, and then I see Mike. Mike Peters, do you have faith? I have to ask.
Do I have faith? That's a good question. I do have faith. I believe in God, because when I had my stroke, that's the first thing I went to. I went to God and asked him. But do I consider myself to be a religious man or Christianity or anything like that? No.
Okay, good to know. Mike Does Megan, Cabbage Patch. I don't know what you mean, Mike. That's okay.
What is Cabbage Patch? I don't know what that is. What is that?
Yeah, Mike, come on, tell us. I think maybe it's because I asked where you're from, but
I'm from Stockbridge, Georgia, right outside Atlanta.
Yeah, awesome. So, wow, quite the story. When you went to therapy, did you ever been told? A lot of people out hear this is you plateaued. That's probably this is the best you're going to be, or you're going through therapy.
I don't think like that, Jerry. I'm more mental and spiritual now. I don't think about this physical body, because this physical body is deceiving. Like I said, I'm 6'4", 260 pounds, and people automatically think that I can lift up anything off the ground.
Yeah,
that's not what I want anymore. I want something different. Like, this transformed me completely. And I notice that my body is in pain all the time, but I don't really notice it until someone brings it up.
Yeah.
So during my therapy, I couldn't walk, I couldn't swallow, I couldn't move my left arm, but I didn't really think about it. I always knew I was going to get that back. I just more was concerned about my psychological health, and nobody was really dealing with that. That was a major issue. Nobody really said, okay, Greg, you're going to be depressed. Greg, you're going to give your wife a lot of problems. She's going to be depressed. Nobody talked
Yeah.
about that. That was my problem more than anything else.
Yeah, that's a huge issue. I know that. That's really something that when we leave the hospital, discharge. Yeah, no one they give me paperwork and stuff for my therapy, but do they get something like you just said, Greg? You're going to be depressed. No one talks about that.
Nope. Matter of fact, Jerry, when I was in the hospital, I requested a psychiatrist, and nobody really brought one to me until I was in the rehab in the hospital. That was about 4 weeks later. Then they brought a psychiatrist over. But all this time, I'm thinking about all these things that they telling me. Like, for instance, I'm gonna give you an example. I was pulling my feeding tube out my nose because they kept on telling me, Greg, you look great. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm great. Why do I have this in my nose? So I pull it out. For 2 weeks, I was handcuffed to the bed because I kept on doing that.
Right.
For 2 weeks straight. So now imagine you just handcuffed to a bed two weeks straight, and your mind is doing all these types of things to you, and nobody's dealing with your mind. That was a major problem for me.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Wow. And no one deals. I see that, Mike. I see what you're saying there. Nobody deals with mental health. Yeah, I think Mike, his wife became a priest after he had a stroke.
That's amazing. Like, and I don't know about you, Jerry, but for me, it like something changed. Like I'm totally different now. Like I said, I'm not Christian or religious, but I know the Bible back and forth because I used to preach. But now I see scriptures totally different. When it says, suffer not the little children come unto me, like they are the kingdom of God. I understand what that means now, because when you become an adult, you have all these past traumas, you have all these things that study in your head that makes you not be forgiving of other people. But a child, when they get hurt or they have a fight with another child, 10 minutes later, they forgive the child, they playing with them all over again. So I'm seeing things differently than how I used to see them before I had my stroke. And, some people go into the faith and be more religious. I am religious as a call to God, but I'm not religious as a form of this type of worldly religion.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, completely. Do you this? I always talk to people about this that had a brain injury. Do you find when you're going somewhere? I mean, what deficits do you have?
My deficits now, my AVM rupture was in my cerebellum, so that messes with your balance. And so my balance is off. My left side of my body, from my neck all the way down to my calf, spasms. My muscles are just spasm all the time. I feel like pins and needles in my left hand. But like I said, I'm a good actor. I ignore it. I really ignore it because I have to live my life. I have to be here for my daughters. I want to dance with them at their wedding.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Do you plan? So this is a big thing. I was just going to say, when you're going somewhere, when you're going like, your daughter or so, says, let's go to this fair or something. You're thinking, okay, there may be rocks in the road, there may be things in the road, and I don't want my balance is off. I don't want to trip and fall. And I mean, do you think about that a lot?
I used to. I used to, Jerry. Right after my stroke, the Super Bowl was in Atlanta, and they have this thing called the NFL Experience, and it was jam-packed right before pandemic happened and everything like that. So my daughters, they're itty-bitty things. I'm like 6'4", and they was no more than 4'11", 4'10". And I was walking with them in the crowd, and I was so nervous that someone would just snatch them and run away, and I wouldn't be able to catch up with them. And I just had to cancel those thoughts, Jerry, because that wasn't doing me any good. It was just like a PTSD. I had to cancel those thoughts and start thinking like, no, they're safe with me. I can protect them. I am a man. I'm still their father. And if it push come to shove, nobody taking my daughters away from me. So, I just can't think negatively anymore. And once I stopped thinking that way, those things never bother me anymore. But before, yes, it did bother me. I didn't think I was adequate at being a man.
Yeah, that's tough. Do you? That's just. I'm looking. Thanks for making these comments. Yeah. Mike, again, you had a psychologist visit you in the hospital. Same with me. I have a psychologist too. Kind of crazy. Yes, Leslie, he is a superhero.
Hi, Leslie.
Thanks for showing up, Mark. Thanks
And
for
you're
sharing
welcome,
your
Mark.
story. Yeah, absolutely. That's true. I'm so glad you can do that. I'm gonna have to start learning from you about canceling that thought, because it does happen. Do people ever say, "Oh, you know, you don't look like you had a stroke"? When you
Oh,
talk about, what am I
I
supposed to
get
look
that all
like,
the
right?
time. Well, I get that all the time. Like I said, it's amazing because sometimes I do volunteer work at food banks, and these food
Good.
banks have these trucks, and they're semi trucks, and people say, "Get in the truck and help us pull this stuff out." I'm like, I can't. I had a stroke, and they look at me, and then I'm like, "Oh, you look good." I'm like, well, I don't know. Do you really know what a stroke is and how a person is supposed to look and have a stroke? It's your brain, and there's so many things inside of your brain that it controls your whole entire body. So you don't know from one person to another what it's going to affect. And then they start to sit down and they start analyzing what you're saying to them, and that's why what you're doing right now with this show is educating people, and that's what we need to do because there's not a lot of people out there educating people because I don't know. It's like space, underwater, the brain is like foreign things to us. Nobody knows
Right.
about these things, and we have to do it since we experienced it. So
Absolutely.
I take it with a grain of salt, Jerry. I take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, you have to. You guys, thanks for commenting here and getting involved. I love to see you all involved because like you said, Greg, we need to spread awareness about stroke, TBI, aphasia, and I know we have something coming up.
Yeah.
Maybe you could talk about that too, because I mean, I don't want to take away from your story because it's, if you can help one person, right, then we did our job. I mean, just inspire one person because we just spread this. It doesn't go out. We try as much as we can. I mean, we're working with Dr. Bassard and some other people. Do we want to shed light on that?
How do I help people? Well, let's first. I want to talk with what Mike said on here. Mike Peters. He's saying, "Oh, you look good, well today. What do I normally look like? I'm disabled, not retarded." Yeah,
Right.
I have a shirt that basically says, "I'm not disabled. I'm a stroke survivor," and I wear that around, so that sparks conversation. And I think people have the misconception of what strokes are. So it is our duty to actually go out there and teach them because, like you said, Jerry, the medical professionals are not doing it. Social media is not doing. We have to do it.
Right.
Now to answer your question, Jerry, what I do, and yes, it's therapeutic for me because I really don't want to do any of this stuff that I'm doing right now. But I know that I hear people come back to me and say, Greg, what you have said to me, your story is so uplifting. It gives me hope. I want to get out of bed. I want to do these things. And what you're saying, mind over matter, just do it. You canceling out those words, just do it. So by me doing that, I do remember my time, Jerry, because once I got my separation from my wife, disability took 2 years to kick in. So I had no insurance for a year and a half as a stroke survivor. And I was trying to get Medicaid, and Medicaid said, well, Greg, when you was working, you made too much money. So now your disability is too high. So you can't get on Medicaid. So I know what I've been through. I know the struggle. I was homeless at the time. I had to stay in my cousin's couch, my sister's house. I was traveling all over the place trying to find myself. And I know how important it was for me if I had somebody like me in my life to help me out. So that's why I keep on doing this each and every day. So the things that I do is not for the gratitude of me, it's gratitude to my God and also gratitude to other people that survive strokes. So I got plenty of stories. I just they're all individual for these particular people that actually save. It's their stories, their life, and I like to keep it for them. Some people tell me that I can say it, but it's not about me. It's about my God, your faith, your belief, and your strength of actually overcoming. And I want to help people do that.
Yeah, and you do that. When do you do your Instagram? Because you're on Instagram Same type of thing, interviewing stroke survivors, brain injury survivors.
Instagram is kind of weird because I don't really, because my show is called Death Taught Us How to Live. So I'm not really just concentrating on stroke survivors or TBI survivors. I'm dealing with people that had near-death experiences.
Yeah.
Because I feel that these people are totally different than normal people that we have on this earth. They see things, they think tomorrow is always going to be there for them. While people that have near-death experiences understand that it could change in the blink of an eye. So my focus, yes, I'm a stroke survivor. Yes, I talk to stroke survivors. I talk to TBI survivors, but I mainly want to talk to people that nearly died and what advice do they have for the people that's living. Does that make sense?
Terrific. Yeah, oh, absolutely. And you're right, Salute. I see that. And Mike, I know he wrote a book too, and I have your book, Mike. Mike wrote a book, and it's amazing. It's right that we would understand. You know, it tells exactly how it is. And I put your logo on top, right here.
Mm-hmm.
That's your logo. I know it's a little small, but it's amazing what you do. Yeah, talking to people that had just a near-death experience. Did you feel like that in the hospital? Did you feel like there was a time when you're sitting in the hospital thinking, I don't know, I can go on?
Jerry, it's not something I felt in the hospital. It's just this is what I always wanted to do, but I was always caught up with life. I know that I have a great voice. I know that I look good, and I've been blessed to have my voice still. I'm still having my face looking the way it does. So I want to be the voice of the people.
Sure.
And
Absolutely.
that's what I'm doing right now. It's like God has said, you wasted your time doing everything that you're doing before. Now it's time for you to head down this direction. So in the hospital, I was already saying, okay, I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna be back and be this new person, and I'm gonna live my life to the fullest. So I don't really know how to answer that question. It wasn't necessarily at the hospital. It was just encompassing of what my life path is supposed to be like.
Yeah, it's amazing that I feel the same way as you. Now, you know, I had the greatest job back then. Now, I have more of a passion now to help other people out.
Isn't that beautiful, though, Jerry?
It is. I swear, this is just. That's why I do this, and just and that's why you do what you do. I mean,
yes,
you just want to spread the word.
Yes, it's a beautiful thing. Matter of fact, before you go down the path, I have this button hook, and you guys see I'm wearing a dress shirt. I normally don't wear a dress shirt. I haven't been able to do that because my left hand, I don't have this. I have problems with it, and I live by myself. But I got this button hook from a nonprofit organization called Socially Accessible. They sent this to me, and now I can wear a dress shirt. So this is my first interview since I had this button hook. I wanted you guys to see that you can be sexy too. Get yourself a button hook.
Yeah, I know. I used one of those in therapy, but I never got one because I'm looking at how you tied your tie. I'd be a disaster trying to tie a tie anymore. And your button is hooked. Woo-hoo-hoo!
Yeah. But this is like I'm dead serious. This is the first time I have worn a shirt with a tie by myself. I usually have to go, during the period. I went to a funeral. I had to ask somebody at the funeral, can you button up my shirt, tie my tie? I feel such relief now that I can do this on my own. That's why I'm here like this. I normally don't dress like this, but I had this shirt about 6 or 7 years ago. See, I got my cufflinks in. I feel great right now because it's like these small little things, Jerry, that that you actually can accomplish with assistance like this, or just being able to do it on your own. It's monumental. So that's why I wanted to show you guys that don't be defeated. Just calm yourself down, live in the moment, stop worrying about what you can't do and what you can do, and accept what you have now.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, you're such. How do I say that? You really inspire me, and I'm sure you inspire everybody. I see Marina's asking, have you written a book about your journey, or do you plan to?
A lot of people ask me that question, Jerry, and I don't want to write a book yet because my story is not complete. People say, well, when is your story going to be complete? I'm like, I asked God when I thought I was going to die, save me so I could save my daughters. I have a lot more to teach them. I haven't finished teaching them yet. So I haven't finished teaching my daughters. There's a lot more I have to do. So my story is incomplete. God put me back here to do that. I wanted to tell you about that. That's what my book will be about.
Yeah.
If I decide to write it.
Yeah. I love it. I know I always butcher your name, Delilah. You're looking good. It is indeed the small things. And it is so true. The things, did we take it for granted? No, I mean, just the beautiful plants outside, all the little things in life, make a big difference.
Yes, Jerry, yes. Yes. Like before my stroke, Jerry, I took all this for granted.
Yeah.
I didn't look at I'll get up in the morning, drink my tea, and listen to the birds chirp. I never did that.
Right.
Then watch sunsets. Since my stroke, I saw the sun rise and sunset over the ocean. How can you do that unless you go to different parts of the country?
Right.
These are things I took for granted before, and I do those things now because this is what life is all about. It's about being patient, about being caring for others and loving others, respectful of others. And I wasn't that way before. I thought I was good, but I wasn't. I had a lot of money. I made 6 figures, but I wasn't happy. I was dead inside. Now I'm happy.
Right. That's amazing. Good that you say that. I mean, how honest can you be? I mean, life changes in a second. And then what?
Exactly, Jerry. I don't think there's a single person that woke up that morning and said, you know what, I'm going to have a stroke today, or today is the day I'm going to die. Nobody thinks that way.
No.
But it happens.
Yeah.
So now if things like that happen, it's not in your control. Why do you plan to have all these things happen in your life instead of just living in the moment and accepting what God has given you?
Yeah.
And go with that flow. And that's what I'm doing, Jerry.
Yeah, you are. We're doing that. I mean, Leslie, I agree with Violet. Stroke changes how you see many things. So true.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's, the little things. Do you, I don't know if this is really a dumb question, but I think of me, do you have a handicap sticker?
Oh yeah, I do, bro.
Do people look
I got
at
the
you?
plate, bro. I got the plate.
Yeah, me too.
I got
Do
the
they?
plate. I got the plate.
Do people look at you and say, look at this big guy, he's getting a card, why does he have is someone, you're doing a handicap in the car? Do you ever people get on here?
I got a funny story about that. They do and they don't. But I'm gonna really transition it, and so you can understand my whole problem that I have, and it goes back to psychological, mental state. Like I said, I've been divorced, been separated for about 4 years, divorced about a year, and now I get out my car, and if I see an attractive woman, I'm trying to be all strong and attractive and everything. Then my gait is off. So a lot of times people see me and they see the big guy, but then they see me start walking and my gait is off. So that's the issue that I have. So yeah, they look at me initially, and then when they see me start walking, they understand what's going on with me. And that's a problem for me. I want to date so bad, but a lot of women are like, oh, what happened with you? I had a stroke. I had a hemorrhagic stroke. I can't do things on my left side of my body. Then they start to feel sorry for you and things of that nature. So that's all psychological too, but it's mind over matter with that as well too.
Yeah, absolutely. Heather, okay. You can see the comment from Heather.
I didn't hear your question. I was reading what Heather was saying.
Let's see. Heather, when you were depressed or sad, I think depression was your middle name. How did you go from that to how you are now? Good question.
That's a great question. I can't honestly answer that and say that I'm completely gone from depression, because sometimes it'd be 2 or 3 months and I didn't realize that 2 or 3 months have gone by because I've been depressed. But I have been dealing with this guy called Dr. Joe Dispenza. He has a book called You Are the Placebo, and also another book called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. He talks about meditation and also your words. Stop saying can't
Right.
and negative things to yourself. And once you stop doing that, then you start building the positive energy that you need around you. So it's not saying that I am in a great place, that depression never hits me. It does. But when I do, I'm more aware of it now. I understand that I'm going down to that spiral of dark depression, and I try to bring myself back out of it. You know, a lot of times people will eat food or smoke cigarettes or things of that nature because they're depressed and they don't even realize why they're doing it. I'm more aware of that now. So it's not depression is gone. I'm just aware when it comes about.
Right. Good to hear. Good to see that. I'm I'm seeing these. Violet says you'll find that special person, and Michelle's saying you can date me.
Where are you? Where are you, Michelle? Come on.
And salute. I love this excellent personal development help. And Mike was saying, Greg, that right lady will just pop up in your life. It happened to him. Okay. I thank God for it every day.
And that's what I'm talking about, Mike. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Living in the moment. Stop trying to find it, because you said God. You know, you thank God every day that you found the perfect mate. It's the same thing that I'm thinking of myself. I'm not trying to make myself be in that particular place to get that woman. I'm just trying to be able to present myself in a certain type of way, and sometimes that throws me off, and that could be leading to depression as well. But so I stopped thinking that way. I stopped worrying about it, because it wasn't my choice to actually live. God gave me another chance to live. So God will give me another chance to have love as well, too. So I'm just waiting, sitting back, listening to him, and going from there.
Yeah, exactly. Mike Peters. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
Mike,
so
I'm not
funny.
dating you, Mike. I'm sorry, bro. I'm not gonna date
Yeah, and you're married, Mike.
you.
I can't read that little box icon.
So that is my acronym. It's called Robin. It's called Deaf Taught Us How to Live. So if you look on to Instagram, I'm AVM _ superhero. That is my tag. And also on YouTube is AVM Superhero. So you'll find that, and then you'll be able to get my social media pages.
That's there at AVM _ superhero. There it is on the screen. If anybody wants to follow you, because it's amazing. You are really do such a great job on that. Let me bring this thing up here. Hopefully I don't mess things up here. There it is right there. I know it's kind of custom. AVM Superhero DTU HTL. Death taught us how to live. That's it. Yeah. So yes, I can see Gail here.
I agree, Gail.
Yeah, it's amazing. So so what would you tell people that are, because there's a lot of newbies out there, or even people have had strokes years ago. What would you tell somebody that's going through? Because you took the T out of can't. You can.
What do I tell people? Well, Jerry, you basically asked me a twofold question. If you're a new person that had a stroke, I would say to be patient with yourself, love yourself. You also have to remember that you didn't start walking when you was a baby in one day, so don't think that it's automatically going to come back to you just like that. Don't give up. Keep on fighting. And the medical society says after 12 months, you won't get major changes anymore. That is a lie. Keep on going. I know people that have been in what's called locked-in syndrome that couldn't even move their eyes. They don't move the eyelids. That's it. And then all of a sudden they walking and talking and breathing and doing everything, running marathons and things like that. So don't let anybody tell you what you can't do. Mind over matter. Whatever your mind thinks, go for it. I'm not going to say that you're going to get yourself 100% better, but you will get wherever you want within your mind. And for the people that don't have it together after 5 or 6 years, and don't beat yourself up, but I do suggest to find other people that can help you out, especially people that know where you're going and what you've been through. Stop listening to people that are negative in your life. Believe in yourself. Surround yourself with a great team, intelligent people that is responsible and trustworthy, and not ones that actually going to break you down, because those are the people that's going to destroy you, because words are very powerful.
I love it. I love it, Greg. Tell me I can't, and I'll prove you. I agree. There's a question. Let's see. Where did that come up here? Let's see. Oh, okay. Do you have did you ever have subluxation in your shoulder?
What's the word?
Subluxation, where you feel that you're because like my shoulder, I have to always keep it kind of propped up, because otherwise it's like your shoulder is coming out of its socket.
No, I never had that problem whatsoever. It feels like fire when someone touches me, because it's my nerve endings are so sensitive. So if you touch my left side of my body, any part of it, I know that it's there. But there's a good thing with that, is that I think I got this new power since I had my stroke. I could tell if you're trying to heal me, or I could tell if you're sick by you touching me. I could feel your energy. I don't know. I never felt that before, but it'd be people that have been coming right up to me and just touch my shoulder. And I could feel them trying to take my pain away. And also I could feel them, that their sickness. I could just tell their sickness just by their energy. But what you just said, I never even heard that word before.
Yeah, that's a big thing. I see a lot of the people out there that have it. I have it, but I'll look at it all. I'm taking my thing up here. Do you speak your mind now? Then before I like these questions, guys.
I always spoke my mind, but now I have no filter.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't know if that answered the question enough, but now, like, and it's weird, because, and I'm not trying to battle back and forth or be malicious or mean to anything, but it's just weird to me. Like, I talk to people, and especially religious people, I will speak to them, and they're like, oh man, I don't know how this is going to happen. I don't have enough money to pay my bills, or this, that. And then I'm like, don't you believe in God? Don't God say, whatever you ask of me, I will give to you? So have your faith. Where's your faith? So now people look at me and I'm like, oh, you're very, you're very religious. I'm not religious. I just have faith and believe in my God can provide anything that I ask him for. And where's your faith? You should have the same thing. And that's what confuses me about when people don't really believe in their religion as they say they do.
Right. Yeah, it's funny how people change after a brain injury, stroke, as far as the filters.
Like, who cares? Like, why are we so sensitive about the truth? That's the problem that I have noticed. That's one thing that happened to me, Jerry. When I was in the hospital and I survived, I was like, oh crap, I have to go back into an insane world, because people, they try to hold back their feelings. They don't speak their truth. They put up walls because of childhood traumas, and this is what I have to deal with. And when I come back into this world and talk to people, I'm not going to hold back anything, because
exactly.
And I'm sorry to cut you off, Jerry, but for me, I always thought that I was gonna die in my home with my children surrounding me, my wife holding her hand. We're gonna die together. And then I realized that's not it. So why am I holding back in my life all these things that is not really real? I want to tell you exactly the truth. I want to help you. I love you so much that I'm going to tell you the hard truth. I'm not going to lie to you to make it sweet for you. I got no time for that. You don't have time for that.
No, not at all. Right. It's a wonderful thing. Wow. So is there anything coming up like that we're getting involved with, or is there anything, well, first say, is there anything we missed on your stroke, your journey? I mean, because there's a lot of little, I'm sure, minor details that, who knows, you forgot, or whatever. Is there anything you want to kind of say that we did not cover?
Yeah, there's one thing I wanted to say, and I'm pretty sure most of you guys probably already understand this. For people that probably didn't have a stroke, this is something that I found very enlightening to me. Maybe it'd be enlightening to you. But when I thought I was going to die and there was no help, I felt like I jumped off a bridge and I was going to die. When that happened, I wasn't mad at God. I wasn't jealous of all the things I was jealous before about. I wasn't angry. I had no negative thoughts in my mind.
Wow.
So when I survived, I told myself, if you're about to die, you have none of these negative energies, negative thoughts. Why live with them?
Wow.
So I don't live with them anymore.
Good for you. I mean, so positive. How things have really changed. Could have been the other
In
way.
a moment. In a
Yeah.
moment.
Oh yeah. Exactly.
Moment.
Completely. Wow. So now we're really getting involved, you and I and other people with an aphasia, trying to raise awareness about aphasia.
Yes. So I'm glad you brought it up, because on May 19th at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Let's Talk Stroke and Deaf Taught Us How to Live is going to collaborate together to actually do a show with some great people, Dr. Tom Broussard, and also Leslie Lowell from Just Ask, Aphasia Stroke Knowledge. We're going to actually come together and have a town hall meeting, and we invite each and every one of you guys to come in, that we will talk and ask them about things about aphasia, so you guys can ask your questions to the panelists that we have on the screen, that will be on the screen. And Jerry and I will be hosting it, so it'll be a fun time and it'll be an educational time. So for people that don't like to talk, you can write your messages on the board like you have now. Of people that do want to talk, they can come in and talk. And I'm so happy that I'll be doing this with Jerry, that we can actually come together and combine our knowledge of social media to the world of aphasia, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I think it's gonna be really fun. Like you mentioned, you can ask the questions, like we're seeing here, or we can throw you on the screen with us, and if you want to ask your questions like that. So
Right.
Yeah, Mike. I just looked at these comments.
Yeah, they're the best.
Yeah, if Jerry's doing it, no, he always gives me a hard time. Yeah, thanks so much. I appreciate this. Negatives can bring me down. It's true.
Mike is killing you. He's roasting you.
Oh, he always does. He usually, when I cough like that, first thing he says is get tested. Oh man.
Wow! Wow!
I can take it. I mean, I can kick him off. I can kick him to the curb right here if I have to, but I won't do that.
Yo, that's too much. That is too much.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. That's what I like about our community. And I don't know if you had this experience. Like, I don't know if you could tell or not. I'm a Black man in the United States, and we in my community we have a lot of Black unity, but I haven't found a community of people that is so close knit, that has instant love, like my brain survivor, TBI survivor, stroke survivor community, because we understand what we've gone through. We understand how you gone through those same exact things. So we automatically have love for each other. Don't make a difference what your disability is. We actually are there to love on each other, and I love this so much. This is a beautiful thing. So like Mike is, he's busting your, what. I like that, because it just shows that love and the compassion that you have for each other. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Oh, absolutely. And I know Mike just said, "I love you." Really, no, but you're right. We understand each other. We
Right.
know what we're going through, because it is a real bit tight community. Even the ones that we just meet. It's been wonderful, Greg. I really appreciate you being here, being on the show. It's been awesome. It's been terrific.
Thank you for having me, bro. Thank you for having me. Anytime you need me, I'm here for you.
Yeah, and we'll definitely promote, May 19th, the aphasia awareness and all that we're going to be talking about. So, and everybody asking questions. So
I won't talk that much. I'll let Jerry talk. I won't talk that much.
Oh no, I forget things as I'm talking. So it's so we're gonna have somebody. Well, even Tom Broussard, he had 3 strokes. So I enjoy them so much. I love you, Jerry. Oh, I love you too. You guys, really, thank you guys for being here and ask. Yeah, Lynette, we all get it. Very true. And again, right here is Greg's Instagram. So check it out. Really, you're gonna be like, wow, Greg is more than a hero. He's just so inspiring. So
thank you, sir.
Absolutely. So, yeah, definitely, I'll take you up on that. Another time doing this. So, any last
Oh, you gotta
words?
come on my show next. We gotta do my show next.
Yeah,
Gotta do my
I'm
show.
looking forward to it. Absolutely.
Cool,
Any
cool.
last words before we go?
Any last words? Yes. Love yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself, and never ever say negative things about yourself.
Yeah.
Because once you start saying that in your mind and your body don't know the difference. Just like PTSD, a soldier comes back from war and they hear a back shot from a car, they automatically think it's a gunfire. The same thing your body doesn't understand when you're saying these negative things to yourself. Don't do it. It doesn't help you at all. Positive words. Even though you can't do something yet, say, well, today is not the day I'm going to do it. I'm going to be doing it sometime in the future. Instead of saying, I can't do it. I suck. Don't ever say
Yeah.
that.
Awesome. Wow. Great way to end. Well, then
Thank you so much
we
for
will
having
see
me,
you
Derek.
guys. Yeah, absolutely. See you guys later. And till next time. Thank you. I agree. All right. Last screenshot here. Thank you, Salute. All right, guys. See you.